Hello. Hi. Okay, I'm back again. I didn't think I was going to do anything tonight, but I've been on a roll. I titled tonight's talk Gaslighters, Grifters, Gurus, and I just like alliteration, and it's all kind of the same thing in the sense that it's like these are traits, and they don't necessarily have to do with political points of view. So my point is, we can all do this, no matter what it is we believe at the time. So that's just what I've been thinking about, like the opposite. You are looking at one group, you're following some ideology, it resonates with you, whatever makes you shift, and you go like in the other direction. That there's many places to, you may have had something that shocks you awake, and makes you understand that you were disillusioned, and so you go looking for other answers, and you feel like you're going in the complete opposite direction, and yet there's similarities in terms of the organization. And so that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm trying to think about. Just the ways in which we are manipulative for our own gain. And do we recognize it in ourselves? Can we even recognize it and overcome it if we're so focused on these other things in society, such as like just materialism? I mean, that's what I'm trying to grapple with, like, because it's so common to hear still people bang on this drum of, like they want their own definitions for these very simple words. So you talk about just mainstream media, independent media, conservatism, conservatives, liberals, progressives, the far right. All of these words are already charged. They're already supercharged. So when you continue to use them, it just, I don't know. I think it's weak. I think, yeah, we need to move beyond that. And I do too. I need to move beyond seeing everything as a trope. Although it makes it easier to lay out in a presentation. So I think that's the trouble these days is, yeah, you end up following the polished message, and they sneak in these sometimes not so subtle points of inflection to maybe feed you with, hey, CJ. It's like it feeds you with an emotion right off of the get-go. That's the headline, right? That's what the clickbait title is. The trailer. I mean, I could not believe. I don't pay YouTube for a subscription or anything like that, and so I get tons of ads on some of the more popular videos I watch. And I watched a movie trailer that they played as an ad earlier, and I couldn't believe it. It was just called Plane. Like, they're just making a movie called Plane. Like, God, get some fucking creativity, would ya? I mean, Jesus, I was just baffled. Like, really, Plane. Okay. Because we're all, at the new definition of third grade education, right? I mean, I think third grade education might have been a lot better 40 years ago than it is now, you know. So we have to name our movies just one word. But that is so stupid. And I'm so sick of listening to a lot of the same old bullshit drama that goes on, you know, with my little kids. It's like that's what all these adults are doing. So I'm just trying to calm myself, stop the babble in myself about all that shit that really doesn't matter, and focus on like what is beautiful in the world, what is poetic, what is intellectually stimulating, you know, and really celebrate that and seek that out rather than get pulled down into the dredges of, you know, just whatever hullabaloo is going on moment to moment. And whether it's in one camp or another, they all have their grifter characters. You know, it's so stupid to watch people as they start to get like sponsorships in their videos, and it's like, okay, half of everybody sells a VPN. Like, which VPN should you use? Do you think that stops the NSA? I don't think so. I'm not too worried about the base hacker. I am actually worried more about international unelected entities that are spying on all the citizens. That's what I'm more worried about, you know. And so when I want to frame, say, my day of consumption of media, I'm really trying to diversify and not just in the sense of point of views politically, but also just the spectrum of media and getting out into all the different fringes. And I think it's fun that I found Seb's because this older guy, Mark Kulaks from Housatonic Live, he mentioned Seb's former Doom and Gloom channel like a few months ago. And I never would have found her otherwise because I'm not really watching stuff that's been in her circles. That's how I found Allison McDowell. And I'm really grateful for that. That kind of obscure delineation. And I think that is what all of us could do a little bit better, is just helping these smaller presenters that I don't know what I'm trying to get at. People like Housatonic Live, these people are older than me. They have different perspectives, and I'm not just watching them to, like, you know, buy into everything that they believe, but I really am trying to gain this perspective. And so, yeah, some of the stuff that they present, I disagree with, but it's nice to participate in the chats on those small channels, because there's really, like, you know, only maybe 20 regulars in the chats. So I dig that. I think that's really important. I think when we get into this realm of like, oh, okay, well, let me be the one to interview the same person that parrots, you know, this kind of point of view. I'm not really interested in that. I mean, it's just recycling all the news of the day, and I'd rather hear, like, directly what happened, and, yeah, maybe gauge what other people are saying about it, but I'm not gonna buy into all the anger about it. And I'm definitely not trying to have a channel where there's any drama, you know. If anything, the problem with me doing these is just that I'm too scattered, you know, to really lead any kind of charge. And that is so fine with me. I'd much rather have like just one person in the chat that might be really engaged with any particular topic. A lot of times these chats get off hand, and you know, one thing I've noticed lately is just the real nitpickers with the hosts of a show in the chat. So I can see where creators get to the point where they're just like, oh, fuck this, you know. But real feedback, that can be good, you know. So it's hard to say, predict how you're going to be in the future when you encounter something, you know. So I'd just rather remain unpopular and unknown than really have to like have some kind of beef or nitpicky arguments with people. I'm just really not interested in that too much. But I can be really snarky and stuff. So I'm just trying to be very careful that I don't get into the gutter. I mean, I know gutter mouth is something different, but yeah, I want to avoid that shit because it's annoying. I don't want to get caught up in that stuff. I have other things that are important that I have to do. Like fix the hole in the fence that the dog kept sneaking in through. Because I got a little puppy a few months ago, and he's great, but he's a little stinker. So I was proud of myself today. I finally went to Home Depot after work. I rallied, got done early. It was a gorgeous day. I appreciated every minute that I was out today because it was just beautiful. Got to see some of my favorite gorgeous dogs and mountains and Little Cottonwood Creek. And I was just so stoked today. And then I went to Home Depot, got my supplies, fixed up my fence. So I think it's those little things we've got to really appreciate. I haven't been really wanting to be all that political, but I think I am going to do my my vote this election cycle because there's a new district attorney that I really want to get in because she was homeless herself, and Salt Lake has a growing issue with homelessness, as many cities do. Sure. It's interesting, CJ, that I think you're in Seattle area, and our cities have taken very different approaches. I mean, almost diametrically opposed approaches to homelessness from Seattle to Salt Lake City. Years ago, I talked to some kids that were like train hoppers, basically. They were transients, and they would just say, hey, yeah, like we go up to Seattle all the time because they have services. Now, this was years ago. This was before the big camps and all this new stuff. But anyway, I'm really distracted with my kids, like kind of having a freak out. Our only bathroom is right across from my bedroom, so it's a little loud. But the Salt Lake City mayor, she's been just bulldozing the camps. And So these cities like LA and Seattle and Portland, where they're just letting people kind of take over places. I'm sure that I don't know much about those cities to say, but I just imagine that things are quite different politically. But nonetheless, like, these issues are affecting us all, and so it's just interesting. It raises these questions. It's tragic because you have to intellectualize about what is humane to do. Is it humane to bulldoze someone's camp on the parking lot or whatever that they've taken over, or is it humane to leave them there and just let them do whatever and destroy the basic infrastructure of the city, and affect people that do pay for a place to live? They're still not free from the consequences of other people being unhoused. Everybody's got a part of it that they have to, well, either acknowledge or not. The Salt Lake City mayor, I don't live in Salt Lake City, I live outside of it, but I live in the county, and the Salt Lake City mayor just says it's inhumane to set up porta potties and let these people camp outside. And yeah, I think probably it is in the wintertime when it's 30 degrees, but they're going to do it anyway. So yeah, how in the hell do we solve these problems? I don't know. But I don't think that arguing about people on YouTube that have millions of views, I don't think that is what matters. I don't think that's going to solve anything. So I'm trying to recognize, what am I supporting? What am I following, and how is it infiltrating my thinking? And I always consider myself a dreamer, but I like to get stuff done too. I just have so many ideas, and so it's hard for me to kind of throttle down to I guess it's more like it's hard for me to distill when I have so much that's going on, but sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I can have a plan in my head, map it out on paper, get all the right supplies, and then execute it. Sometimes I can do that, and so I'm really trying to focus on those little things of substance, and just keep going forward with that. And I can sit with the more heady stuff. But yeah, I think in terms of thinking of things as politics and ideals and morals, the big disservice it does is thinking, oh, well, I'm aligned with this person because of their Christianity, their Islam, their Democrat, they're Republican, they're Black, they're brown, they're Caucasian, whatever the fuck. I mean, Caucasian is a word for pale mutt, right? So it's so insulting to be reduced by any of these tropes. And that's what's exhausting to me, is that everybody's still fighting over them. And I really don't understand it. When we're all the displaced people, we've all been duped. We've all been controlled by our own, wherever we come from, wherever we happen to land. And And it's just weird that that's what we don't really see. And so I've kind of been aligning with this idea that there's evolution and there's the de-evolution, and there might be something to that, you know. Sometimes maybe it's observing a regression that lets you decide, I'm not going to do that. I am going to choose a different way. That's holding up the mirror, you know. That's the true gift of being judgmental, I think, is you're like, oh, I hate that. I don't want to be anything like that. So, you know, it can have its bad ways. You know, it can be like, I'm invisible because of my shit job. But I kind of like that. You know, it's refreshing after the career that I had had. And, you know, it just, it always made me appreciate the diversity of life. When I would find myself judging someone, and then we would become friends because we were able to push each other, and we were able to butt heads a little bit on real stuff, and then come out of it strong, you know, really connected. So I just continue to look forward to that. There's all those surprises in life, and you never know what it is that's going to motivate you sometimes. Like, I wonder if like the ebb and the flow of things, these valleys and peaks, like, I don't know, maybe sometimes it does kill us, sometimes it makes us stronger, sometimes it's fucking luck. I don't know, but I do think we can have some effect when we can slow down a little bit, really focus, observe, and reflect. You never actually know what you're going to come up with. That's the cool thing. So I just love that I get to do this because I don't know. Some people are like maybe not in control of the characters that they become. Maybe sometimes it's mimicry. And that, I think that's pretty natural. So I think, yeah, it's hard to accept a different opinion when it's inherent to like mimic each other. It was a protection, you know, to color yourself in the tribal colors, to differentiate, so that you would know who you could trust, who you could talk to. And in this world now, it seems that we're trying to homogenize everything, and yet make clear our divides. So it's kind of weird. It's like what seems to be happening now is just super confusing, because I kind of see like the pendulum being swung, but then down here it's everybody bickers, and that creates that momentum. It's actually the motion down here. This is just sitting still, holding on to everything. And the pendulum's momentum is coming from all the bickering down below. And meanwhile, up here at the top, they can do whatever they want. So I think what's interesting being at the bottom, being the peasants, is we can still take that hand-me-down benefit from the building of wealth by the elites that are controlling everything. We can actually survive quite well under that umbrella. And it can teach us how we maybe, some of us see it and we're like inspired and we're like, yeah, I want to become rich. There's nothing immoral in itself about that. I'm just a little suspect as to motivations for people that just purely want the material, so I fear that it's to fill a void of something else because of the disconnect with like the mountains I was staring at today. And I have lived here my whole life and moved away for like 8 years when I was a kid. But, we'd always come back here to ski and visit family and everything. So for the almost 40 years I've been looking at these mountains and they still make me go, God, it's so beautiful. So I just wish that that's the bit of humanity that we can hold on to. And that's what I fear people are spinning out because we just have so much coming at us. It's sensory overload, and we do not have the sight any longer to look at that mountain and be like, oh, this is everything. I am so tiny. So I feel lucky for that every day, and especially when I've forgotten to recognize it for a while. Oh, thank you. Hi. Well, good night. I hope I don't offend you because I curse, but I appreciate you watching. So anyway, I'm really fortunate to have, one or two people pop in on my chat and say hi. That's a huge blessing to me. And I think that's the stuff that will really get us through any of the tough times. And you can look at gardening as a metaphor, so much abundance can come from one seed. So you really just have to try and hope. Yeah. And, and especially like when we feel ourselves judging somebody, like I think it's cool, you can call each other out without cutting them off at the knees, I guess. And the things that piss you off about someone else, yeah, you can use that as a good mirror for your own behavior. So I'm just trying to cling to that and stay humble. And it was just such a beautiful day today. So I was super inspired. But yeah, thank you all so much. These talks really just help me tremendously, um, especially being really busy with work and family and um, just getting through. Um, so thanks for letting me have this space to be honest and open and kind of learn how to think. uh, so yeah, thank you so much and have a wonderful night.